Moving on from the theory of meaning holism, we have another important and popular theory that is roughly known as the idea theory of meaning. If meanings are not words, what could possibly be our next guess? Meanings are in the mind. By mind we mean meanings are in the concepts or thoughts or ideas we generate in our mind when we say something or we want something to be understood by others. You say whatever the word, you say a word, it generates a certain concept in your mind, and the supporters of this theory say that those concepts are in fact the meanings. For example, if you say the word dog, it generates an idea, a concept of dog in your mind. And that concept, your mind shifts in a certain way to produce that concept or idea in your mind. I mean, you speak a word cat, and you will see a picture of cat in your mind, or roughly we say that. And the proponents of this theory say that the picture, that idea of the cat is in fact the meaning of the word cat we pronounce. Here we will show, for the sake of understanding, we'll show the concept with the capital letters and the word of the language with the small letters. In front of you, you can see that the word dog is written in small letters, which is the language word, and the concept is in all capital letters and inverted commas. You associate this concept with the English word dog and you find the meaning. Then onwards, you have the ability, onwards, whenever you find the word dog is being pronounced by somebody, you automatically generate that concept in your mind and meanings are conveyed to you automatically. And this is how idea theory of meaning helps us to understand meanings with the help of concepts. And this theory also explains the patterns in how language expresses meaning in terms of the nature of concepts. But understanding meaning with the nature of concepts may be very challenging task, because concepts may vary from person to person, or they may vary from context to context, or they are also conditional to many other sociocultural and psychological conditions. In such situations, it's important to see the limitations of this theory. In order to understand and explain this theory, we need to come up with a strong and sound psychological theory of what concepts or ideas are. Psychologists are yet to formulate a clear theory of ideas or concepts, and in this situation, it would be very difficult for a linguist to explain what exactly the idea or concept is. And in the absence of such a theory, it would be very difficult to explain what meanings are. This theory also needs to provide a concept for every meaningful piece of language. I mean, when we say that meanings are concepts, so we need to provide a detailed or meaningful concept for every word, which is in fact not a reality. If you just have a look at the words on your screen, I pronounce them: rain, horse, my picture, 9, however, why, sleep, whatever, is, etc. And if you just analyze them quickly, you will find some of the words would generate an image in your mind quickly, but others won't. For example, if you listen to the word rain, an image of rain would come to your mind because you have seen rain in your life through your experience. The words like my picture, house would also create an image in your mind. But what image the word however would generate in your mind? It's a tricky thing, because however, the words like that, is, they don't generate any picture in your mind. They are understood by your previous use of language, or by your experience with the language, or by knowing the dictionary meanings. So these words, it's very even if they have any image, it's very difficult to conceive their image in the mind. Let's move forward. Now I have presented in front of you some of the words of our own Urdu language. If just look at these words which I have written in front of you, the words barik, lohe ki chadar, kyun, kahan, agarche, harich, agaz hona, chonke. All these words come from the language we are born with. We use more frequently. We listen to in the media. We listen around us. But can I just ask what image this word chonke produces in your mind, or kahan produces in your mind? It's very difficult to understand the images these words produce. So it's not easy to understand the idea or concept or image behind every word. So this proves that this theory may not be a complete theory of meaning. Let's move forward. It also does not provide, as I said, a simple way to a complete theory of meaning. Whether the ideas or the concepts have the right properties to explain us meaning, so far we can say that it doesn't have all the properties to, it may have certain properties, but not all the properties to explain to us the meanings. Moreover, it is also deficient in explaining the grammatical meanings. For example, when we change a word or a sentence from active to passive voice, there is certainly a shift of meaning by the shift of arrangement, grammatical arrangement. But this image theory do not help us in understanding that slight or bigger shift of meaning by such grammatical changes. Moreover, our images or concepts in minds are based on our experiences in life, and our experiences may vary from person to person. For example, I may have a different image of dog in my mind which I have as my pet in my childhood. You might have a different experience. You might have a picture of a dog who you confronted in a street, or you saw in a park, or you saw in your neighborhood. I mean, there would be different pictures, different images varying from one person to another. So it would be very difficult to create one image or one meaning for a word which we have in a language. In such situations, as I said earlier, this becomes very difficult to create or to understand a complete theory of meaning. So we can sum up that idea theory of meaning may help us in understanding the meaning of certain words which have a clear images or concepts in the society, but it may not help us to understand the meanings of those words which do not have clear images in the minds of the users of a language.